Cocoliso by Andres P. Andrew. Alejandro dreams of flying. He dreams of being an airplane pilot. But Alejandro lives in the Ciénaga de Zapata, a swamp in western Cuba. The Ciénaga is far from any city or town. We live so far from an airport, sighs Alejandro to Papi. One day, Ale, says Papi with a smile, using Alejandro's nickname. One day you will fly. Mama and Papi work in the Ciénaga as park rangers. They often sit with Alejandro on their porch and watch the sunlight dance on the water. They listen to the hum of insects and the sweet songs of the birds. His parents teach Alejandro about the swamp. We have 15 different kinds of mammals here, says Mama. And the zunzuncito, the smallest bird in the world, says Papi. The Ciénaga is so amazing. If I could fly, sighs Alejandro, that would be amazing. Alejandro smiles as the tiny hummingbird floats by his nose, but he is thinking of another place. When are we going to Cienfuegos? He asks. He wants to go to the big city to visit the airport there. Soon, Ale, Papi always says, but soon never comes. Alejandro is bored now. He jumps down from the porch. Where are you going? Asks Mama. To the crocodile clinic, he answers, to see the doctor. Okay, but don't take any shortcuts. Take the safe way, please, Papi warns. Alejandro has learned a lot from Mama and Papi. He knows the sound of the crocodiles and the song of the ferminias. He knows the shadow of a long-tailed hawk from the shadow of a whistling duck. He knows how to stay safe. I know, says Alejandro, and he puts on his Yare hat and heads down the path. Alejandro is off to see his friend, Dr. Fernanda. She studies Cuban crocodiles. Her clinic is the only thing in the swamp as exciting as airplanes. Alejandro loves to listen to her talk about crocodiles. Dr. Fernanda is funny and helpful, and she always cheers up Alejandro. Alejandro stays on the path, but he can see the gar zooming in the water on either side. The long, thin fish look like rockets. The slow shadow of a manatee startles him. It is harmless, but it is so big. He talks to the giant animal in the water. When I am a pilot, I will zoom through the air, he says, just like the gar zip through the water. He puts out his arms like wings and looks up at the drifting clouds. When Alejandro looks back down, he sees he is not alone on the path. A tiny crocodile baby lies at the edge. It is not like other crocs. It is pure white as a cloud. Are you hurt? He asks. Alejandro takes a step closer. Then he remembers. Never go near a wild animal in the swamp. It is a rule he has never broken. Mama and Papi will know what to do, he says to the baby. He races home to get his parents. Minutes later, Alejandro returns with Mama and Papi. A white croc, they both whisper, amazed. Mama makes Alejandro stand with Papi a safe distance away from the baby. Mama looks around for the baby's mother, moving carefully. She knows that a mother croc will want to protect its baby, but there are no signs of Mama Croc. I think it's hurt, calls Alejandro. What could have hurt it? Without its mother, almost anything could have happened, says Papi. Poor baby. I want to help it heal. Can I keep it? Alejandro starts to beg. No, Ale, wild animals are not pets, but Dr. Fernanda can help, says Papi. He helps Mama pick up the weak crocodile. Of course, says Alejandro. Let's take Cocoliso to her right now. Mama and Papi scoop up the baby into Mama's hat. Cocoliso? A flat crocodile? Mama laughs. This little guy might be unusual, but he isn't really flat. No, says Alejandro, but he looks a little flat. And he is white. Cocoliso looks like a crocodile made of white paper, says Alejandro. Mama and Papi both laugh. It's a good name for this crocodile. At the clinic, Dr. Fernanda looks carefully at Cocoliso. Alejandro has many ideas for how to help. I can build him a little house with a pool. I can help him make friends with the other crocodiles. Slow down, Alejandro, laughs Dr. Fernanda. This is a crocodile, not a little brother. One thing is for sure, though. We are all very fortunate that you found this little guy. White crocodiles are very rare, and there are only a few of them in the whole world. Then I've made a great discovery, says Alejandro. Yes, you have, replies the doctor. Scientists from all over will be grateful for the chance to study Cocoliso. Alejandro feels proud. Suddenly, the swamp doesn't seem so boring. Maybe your name and picture will be in the newspapers in Cienfuegos, laughs Papi. Who knows? Maybe even in the capital city of Havana, says Alejandro. Cocoliso and I will go to Cienfuegos to meet the scientists. Then we can watch the airplanes take off and land. We could even fly to Havana, says Alejandro. He glides around with his arms out, like an airplane. Cocoliso raises his head and watches. You'll be a pilot for sure, says Dr. Fernanda. Oh, I don't want to be just a pilot anymore, says Alejandro. What will you be? Asks both Mommy and Papi, surprised. I still want to be a pilot, but I also want to be a scientist, just like Dr. Fernanda. I'll learn how to take care of baby crocodiles. I'll make great scientific discoveries. And Cocoliso and I will fly all over the world telling people about crocodiles. Cocoliso seems to laugh, opening his big mouth full of tiny teeth. And Alejandro feels as if he can finally fly.